is that you already have a response that you prepared for your risk. Now you need to further make it efficient response, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah. So you already identified some mitigation. I can see Valerie has joined. Hi, Valerie.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Good evening. All right.
Good
So
evening.
when we discussed this point yesterday, we elaborated it in bit more detail, and we said that principally we are required to put up some risk responses and then continuously revisit those responses. That are these effective? Are these mitigating the risks that we foresee? And we should, and in doing so, what we are doing, we're optimizing these responses. Maybe we will revisit after a month and we'll see that the response has not actually mitigated the risk. What do we want to mitigate? The risk has a probability and the risk has an impact. So two things we want to reduce. We don't want to get hit when the risk actually materializes. We don't want to lose. That's why we put up mitigation. So mitigation should in fact reduce the probability of the risk, and it should reduce the impact of the risk. So if we put up a mitigation today and then we revisited the mitigation after a month and we don't see any reduction in the probability, we are still at risk and we don't see reduction in the impact. So there is something wrong with the mitigation that we put up. So we need to revisit. We need to optimize it. So, okay. So now based on yesterday discussion, Abel, would you be able to elaborate the principle which is focus on value?
Focus on value.
Try.
Yeah, for the principle, focus on value is probably for what you have produced and the quality of what you have produced.
Mm-hmm.
The quality of work also you put in to give the good product. I think that's what I understand my focus on the value.
Well,
More
it is, go on. Try to elaborate
Yes.
more.
You give more attention to the process so that you have a good product at the end of the day. And then
I think you are explaining the second one, the second last one, build quality into the process and deliverables. But I want you to elaborate on focus on value. What does this principle expect from you being a project manager? What does this principle expect from you?
Focus on the value. It is actually the return after the product has been produced, and the value that the consumers will give on the company.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good attempt, actually. It's good attempt. You directly went to the return on investment from the products that we deliver. And this is important because the whole purpose for doing the projects and delivering the products is that we should be able to sell them. We should be able to sell these services. So if the service is created, we should be able to have the subscribers. And if the product is created, we should be able to sell it for more and more people. So yes, but the one who delivers value has prioritized the value delivery because hundreds and hundreds of requirements you can collect. For example, you are launching a new product and it can have 100 features. But which feature should be there in the final product, it should be decided based on how valuable this feature would be. Now, I'm not saying that it's solely your responsibility to launch a highly valuable product, but I'm saying uh, it's your responsibility while you are prioritizing the work. You focus on the
Mm,
most valuable items as prioritized by your product owner, because
mm,
we discussed yesterday one good rule of thumb, that anything urgent and anything important. So which one you will do first? And we said
Important.
that important. We said that why you are doing the thing which is important first, because of its value. Maybe anyone can come on your head and tell this is urgent, do it now. However, you have a very important task which need to be done because it is more valuable task for the organization, and same goes with the product features. So most of the features that should go into the final product should be those which has more value for the end customer, right? So
mm.
that's the point that we explained yesterday. All right, so without further ado, we'll move to our performance domains. And I explained yesterday that PMBOK 7th edition has moved away from the process-oriented approach into principle-oriented approach. And we have seen our 12 principles. But now there are further domains which also uh, so in PMBOK guide, apart from 12 principles, you will also see your 8 performance domains. So, so we have two things in the PMBOK guide. One, our 12 principles, and each principle is elaborated in detail. And we have 8 performance domains. And those principles that we have just understood will guide our behavior while we work in these domains. So these domains are various um, group of behaviors or group of the actions that you can perform as a project manager, right? You can deal with the team, you can engage with the stakeholders, you can manage your risk, you can decide your project development approach. But the principles will guide you while doing it. Now, when you deal with the team, and if you focus on the value, then you will be going to assign them. I mean, you are not principally assigning or um, delegating the task, but you will highlight the importance of the important work based on the value. So the principles are behind every action that you take. While you are engaging with the stakeholders, you have to be steward. Remember, our first principle is we have to be respectful and caring steward. And this principle will guide you when you deal with your team. And this principle should guide you when you deal with your stakeholders. You saw this example, right? There is a connection, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and exactly. So when you plan your day-to-day tasks, you will focus on the value. And when you deal with the uncertainties, you will optimize your risk responses. So there is a connection with everything that when you deliver, you will deliver focusing on value delivery first, right? And in the same way, when you measure the things that are working, right? You will say, all right, we have delivered a working feature. So let's measure something which is working, right? Rather than measuring some statistics. So there are 8 performance domains, namely stakeholders, team, development approach, planning, project work, delivery, measurement, uncertainty. So what is the relation between these performance domains? These performance domains are also elaborated in detail in your PMBOK guide. And earlier in the previous editions, we used to have two things, knowledge areas and process groups. So the knowledge areas are more or like um, similar to your performance domains, because there you used to have stakeholder management knowledge area, but here we have a stakeholders domain. There we used to have resource management knowledge area. Here we have a team. So there we used to have a risk management knowledge area. Here we have uncertainty. And similarly, we used to have integration management knowledge area. Here you have planning. So, so these are your 12 performance domains, which we will be touching base, right? And now the question comes again that is PMP exam from PMBOK guide, is PMP exam from these 12 principles and 8 performance domains. But remember, PMBOK guide is a reference material for studying the project management. It has good practices, it has good standards to follow. However, your exam content outline, the document that I emphasized on the day one of the training, is what in the end matters, that you will be tested on those areas which are there in the exam content outline. Okay, we can continue to learn PMBOK guide the whole life, right? And we can continue to learn project management the whole life. But how we will be tested in the PMP exam is based on the PMP exam content outline. And I always refer to you guys to visit our website, to keep a copy of that guide with you always. And where is it? In the PMP landing page. And I gave you the link of this on the day one. If you go to the content area, get started, exam content outline, and this is where your exam content outline is there. And it has 3 domains I've been explaining you guys, that people, process, and business environment. And the one domain that we are studying as of now is business environment domain. And there are 8% of the exam questions from this domain, which are roughly 14 questions in the PMP exam. So a lot more to go. Where is the business environment domain? Here is your business environment domain. Okay. So the topics that we will be tested on are compliance, the business value concept, the impact of external environment on project, and the impact of project on your environment, and how do you enable change through the project that you do. So each of these enablers, there will be a scenario question built around these enablers that you see. So this should be our focus when we practice PMP questions and when we study for PMP exam, that all right, I may know many things, but I need to know this particular area. I need to be able to comprehend it, understand it, because these actions which are elaborated here are your job description. When you are project manager, you will do day-to-day basis these things, right? You will confirm project compliance requirements. Is there health and safety being monitored in your projects that you do? Are you compliant with the regulations? You understand what type of compliance you need to follow, and so on and so on and so on. Okay, so I will go back to our lecture, but I always come back to this, that we should not lose our focus where we will be tested on. And I prepared the exam questions focusing on the key areas that you guys need to be preparing, considering the exam. So now we discussed our 12 principles of project management, and we discussed briefly about our 8 performance domains. Now we also have Agile as a major cornerstone of our PMP curriculum. And from the exam perspective also, 60 to 70% of your exam will be built around Agile scenarios. So it used to be more of a predictive project management, let's say 2-3 years ago, the whole PMP curriculum. But since 2-3 years ago, or since the PMBOK guide fifth edition came, or 6th edition came, a lot more emphasis is being given to Agile. Okay, so now we need to learn what is Agile. Okay, so Agile comes with its Agile Manifesto. Okay, so what happened is that software industry specifically was struggling in 90s or till 90s, that most of the projects that were done in the whole world, were failing. And failing mean that not delivering uh, the value, uh, getting over budget, getting late, and this was common across all the industries. So, a few minds in the software industry, they gathered and they collaborated and they said that we need to come out of this mess and we need to take the world out of this mess. We need to find, moving forward, we need to find some ways of working so that we should make sure that we deliver value and we make sure that we complete the projects while achieving project objectives. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of sense.
So what did they do? What did they do? They came up with 4 agile values and 12 agile principles. Yeah. Who knows these? Who knows these values? Anyone? Any wild guess?
Let me just guess.
No guess? Valerie?
I want to guess.
Guess. What is more important? Yeah.
One of the principles was, no, not was, could be, could be to arrange, to structure project in such a way that, let's assume there is termination around between the project. We should be able to get value, or we should be able to be paid for what we've done all the time that have been done.
Mhm.
Or we should be able to use what we've been working on. That's one for me. And then number 2 would be, I think that is the only one I have in my mind.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
Yeah. No, good try.
Yeah, for
So
me, I can guess about the professionalism of the personalities that will be engaging in the project. Is very important. We give the value
Yeah.
of the
no,
project.
look. Uh, so guys, uh, there is interesting set of values which they came up with, and Valerie is somehow close to what we are going to explain now.
Mm.
My own voice. How boring am I? Okay. So these gentlemen who went to Silicon Valley and they sat there for 2 weeks, they came up with 4 set of values and 12 principles, and they quickly came up with 4 set of values. So let's look at those 4 set of values first. Now, they said that number 1, that moving forward, we recommend that we should more value the individuals and their interactions rather than focusing on processes and tools. Okay. Number 2 value that they said was that we should focus on delivery working software rather than focusing on writing a comprehensive documentation. Okay. And number 3 was that we should more focus on collaborating with our customers rather than dealing with them contractually. And fourth one, that we should always respond to the change that is coming in rather than preparing a comprehensive plan and then following that plan. So now let's go in detail of these values. So you have in your front 4 items at your left and 4 items at your right, right? So when you are giving more value to the items at right, at left, it doesn't mean that the items at right has no value. We should not care about process and tools. No, we should care about process and tool still, but we should give more emphasis on people interacting with each other. And this makes a lot of sense, right? Yeah. Imagine you need to get a signature from your manager, and there is a secretary sitting outside the office, and you need to take an appointment, and then you will be able to visit to your boss, right? That's so bureaucratic. But in Agile, we are saying we should be nimble, we should be open door, right? We should be able to walk in, and we should be able to engage. So we don't believe in bureaucratic processes, right? We should be
protocol.
Agile. Yes. So that's just an example that what was the cause of delay. It could have been that we created the service request, and then it will go through system to a person in an email. He will feel like opening his email, and then he will approve, and then it will go to next. I understand there is a process to it, and it will help people to do the things, right? To move the things to the system. But what if we just go, walk, and talk? And meanwhile, we are standing there and say, just sir, can you please open your email and just press this link? And this is just for your understanding. I'll explain you what we are here for approval. So it will expedite the process. You got this point?
Noted.
Yeah. Now, secondly, previously what used to happen that in predictive projects that there used to be a requirement gathering phase, and then there is a business requirement document that is written. And that business requirement document will take a month or 2 or 3 or sometimes even 6 months of requirement gathering. That we are developing a big document for your upcoming software, and we are writing each and every feature in detail. Okay. So in the end, after 6 months, we'll bring one booklet to the customer and tell him or her or the sir, this is your requirements. Please sign off these requirements. Ask me, if you do this with me after 6 months, I will say, I didn't get any benefit of working on a project for 6 months and paying the people when you are delivering me just piece of document. There is no working software. There is no working software that is that I can sell, and even if it has one feature, maybe it is MS Word and it has just copy paste feature, and I release it and people download it and people use it. That would be more beneficial for us than this big book. Yeah. So that's where we say we said working software is more better to be delivered than a comprehensive documentation. Makes sense, right?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. And then let's look at the third one. Now, previously in predictive projects, what was our attitude towards the customer? You bring me a change request, I will analyze it, I will put it in a document, I'll bring you the analysis, present you, you will approve it, more cost, more budget, then I will work on it. Sir, this is out of scope. We do not entertain any changes. This is the tone that we used as project managers, that, oh, this is out of scope. Any customer who is requesting any change at any point in time, sir, requirements are finalized, BRD is signed off, everything you bring now, which is not here, is out of scope. Where is collaboration with the customer? No, right? We are dealing with contractually, right? You signed a scope of work, we will do only that part. Our role is very clear. So what they propose moving forward, let's not do this. Let's not deal with the client in a contractual manner. Let's be flexible. Let's collaborate with the customer in their best interest. If it is they want to change any feature in their best interest, the feature is still written in the booklet and we have not started developing it. Why don't we allow them to change it? Here is the catch. The real reason why predictive teams were not allowing customer to touch the requirement document after it is signed off was that they did not design for their software till they wrote the requirements, full requirements. And they didn't write a single line of code until they designed the system for the full requirements. They made the design for the full requirements. And now when they started writing a piece of code and customer want to change the requirement, what will happen? Their design has to change. And then their coding has to be rewritten. So they used to panic that now it's too late. If you come asking for change in the requirements when we already designed for the full system, it will be a lot of rework for us and who will pay for this, right?
Right.
I want to, I have a question.
Tell me.
Yes. You know, I'm just trying, I don't know about others, but for me, I'm trying to relate this with my profession. And lately, I was having a challenge in the factory whereby a quality control find it difficult to control an item that we produce. So my question here is this: if we deal more with collaborative approach, just like we've explained, now what can we put in place for quality to control what we are doing? Because if we let's say, for example, we verbally agree with the customer that this should be changed and it should be like this. Now, quality comes and he needs to control that item. How can he then get to understand that this was changed, that was made with the client, and it is okay with the client and stuff like that?
Okay, so good question. And I will take you in detail for this answer, okay? You need to give me an Excel sheet and let's nail it down. Okay. So there are two parts of what you said, and I totally agree with you that the way we define quality was that quality is conformance to requirements. Okay, so if you ask me, how did the quality gurus define the quality? They defined quality is conformance to requirements. Quality is conformance to requirements. So if you gave me requirements and I delivered the requirements, I have delivered 100% quality.
Somebody just share a message here. You? Then Danish to everyone.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Danish is our student. So,
okay.
So now, now your question is, guys, if you are constantly allowing the changes to come from customer in Agile, then how you will maintain the requirements? I mean, how you will maintain the quality? Right? This is your question, right?
Yeah, that is it.
As I understood. Okay. So now let's take the predictive environment. Okay. In predictive environment, you collected the requirements, and you created a business requirement document. Good. That business requirement document, you took maybe a month or 2 months or 6 months, and you wrote this full business requirement document. And this is your requirement. If you delivered everything as stated in your business requirement document, all the functional requirements and non-functional requirements, okay, all good. You have actually delivered in the end. You have actually delivered. But what was your process of delivery? Your development approach in predictive? You collected the requirements in the requirements phase. Then you went to the design phase. And I think we should do this like this. You went to the design phase. And then you went to the, what you call it as development phase. And then you went to the testing phase. And then you went to the launch. So all these phases were standalone phases and time boxed, and we took our sweet time to do the requirement gathering, and we did our sweet time to do the designing and development and testing and launch. Okay. Now, we didn't start the design until the requirements were ready. We didn't write any piece of code until full design was ready, and we didn't started testing until full development is done, and we didn't launch until full testing is done. So that was pretty waterfall approach, and you see waterfalls from top to down, and there is no way to go back. Once we are down, we cannot go up, right?
Yeah.
We cannot go up, right? That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's you are in design phase, client asks you to note down more requirements, not allowed, sir. You are in development phase, client asks you more requirements, not allowed, sir, until there is a formal change request. You are in testing phase, client asks more requirements. The problem, I am taking you all the way back, because the moment they ask for no more requirement, you need to restart here, and then you need to restart here, and then you reach here. So the whole mess is there, that I will be in great trouble if you ask me a change here or here. I'm okay if you ask me change here. I'm okay till I didn't start the design, right?
Yeah.
But somehow it will be very costly if you ask me a change. I mean, we will incorporate the change, but it will be costly because there is a lot of rework that is here. Now, I want to also come back to what your question was. Okay, just give me some more minutes. Now, with this thing said, you understand the limitation of predictive approach, that there is no feedback, there is no go back, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this was difficult. Now, when we said we are pretty much agile, okay, when we said we are pretty much agile, then we are doing the same thing. However, we are doing it multiple times. We are doing the same thing, but we are doing it multiple times. And now imagine what we will be doing. We just shortened this duration was, let's say, from here to here, it was 2 months. And from here till here, it was, let's say, 12 months. Okay. So we said, now this whole duration from requirement to launch is 14 days. Now you ask me, how would you capture the whole features and word of mouth and voice of customer in 14 days? Not possible, right?
Yeah.
So what you will capture? You will capture few things. So if you capture few things, you will design few things, you will commit the resources for few things, you will test few things, you will launch few things, and still when you have a review with the customer, 14 days passed. Here, 2 months were only spent to collect the design, collect the requirements, right? But
Yeah.
here you delivered some working software which customer has realized the value, dollar in, dollar out. They paid you for 14 days, but you delivered them some feature which, if they accept, to launch. Launch. If they say improve, improvise, you say, sir, we will do requirement gathering again with you and modify the design and do the development and do the testing again, and we will come back to you again for the same feature. If you are not okay, we will be incorporating your feedback. So this is the point where we are taking the feedback. You remember the feedback was missing, but now we found a way to collect the feedback.
Yes.
Is it clear, Valerie?
Yes.
So where is the quality in Agile? I'll tell you. In the requirement phase, you have user stories. Each user story has 3 parts. It has conversation that, okay, we talked about a feature with the client and we remember the conversation between us. Okay, there will be a card. We put some card and we put a sticky note on the wall. And you remember, and then you might have seen people working in the boardroom with the sticky notes, and they paste those sticky notes on the glass and the whiteboard, and they debate those user stories. Have you seen people doing this?
Yes.
Yes.
Right? They are
Yes.
working on user stories definition, and they are working in agile environments, and they are putting the user stories on the cards, and they are discussing and debating. What is the third most important part is the confirmation. We call it acceptance criteria. This is the most important part, because if you deliver a user story which meets the acceptance criteria, after 14 days, we will be checking you against the acceptance criteria. You are conforming to requirements. You are meeting your objective. That's the quality part of your user story. Got it, Valerie?
Acceptance criteria. Yes.
Yeah, I get it.
So still, we have check and balance, but we have strict check and balance, because see, we defined very little, but we wrote the acceptance criteria for that, like a test scenario. And that test scenario, until and unless me as a developer who is working on it, I confirm that my code satisfies this acceptance criteria, and our internal QA has validated it, and now client, we bring it for you to do the UAT with your acceptance criteria as you defined in the user story. If they approve it, we are good. Story or feature is complete. We can take more features from the backlog or more stories, and we can run this 14-day sprint another time. Now client will pay you for another sprint. The moment clients see that there is no benefit in investing in more sprints, in more money on this product for running more sprints, they will say project ended, product reached to its maturity, so the project will end. So we are doing, in fact, 14 days small projects for a bigger product. Are you getting this?
I need to get PMP fast so that I will be implementing this in my field, because no, on a serious note, because in my field, though I'm not more into this, but You will see client will finish one item, he will say the color is not like this one. Oh man, the first thing I will implement in my field is this idea. Yes. So that those my boring customer will know that level have changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Danish. How are you?
Hello, I'm fine. Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, Danish is one of our old student, and he was in another batch, but due to his own um, other family matters, he took a break and he rejoined us. We
Yeah,
welcome you.
I'm very old, almost 40s.
All right. So today I think we touch based four values, and let's go back to our values, and we have yet to uh, go back to our. Yeah, actually, we can now very well understand the last value. You guys can still see the screen, right?
No.
Ah, lost it. Okay. Let me. We should. So we talked about individuals and interactions, our processing tool, giving value to working software, our comprehensive documentation, collaborating with customer rather than negotiating contractually, and lastly, responding to change, then following a plan. And I showed you why you are able to take a change in Agile. It is because you don't worry, for example, about changing the design, for those requirements which are still in the backlog and which you haven't touched. So client is free to remove anything, add anything. So you welcome the change as long as uh, it's not impacting the ongoing sprint. But if it is impacting the ongoing sprint, there is a trade-off. You will say, all right, we can incorporate it, but you need to take back some stories from the ongoing sprint. And we'll touch base it in big detail, in more detail. So now we understood that those people who gathered in the Silicon Valley, those big pioneers of software industry, they, after a week of collaboration, they came back and they said, these are our, this is our Agile Manifesto, which comes with four values, and we will, moving forward, give more value to individuals and interaction of our processes and tools, will give more value to working software, and will give more value to customer collaboration, and will give more value to responding to change. Now, with this, I will go to next to our 12.
Sir, can I ask one question?
Yes.
Sir, if you just compare all these things, especially this third point, can we implement in the functional organization?
Collaboration, our contract negotiation.
Yes, because I am just comparing this one with my current job.
Okay. So if you are in a functional organization, you mean there is no one called project manager, right?
Yes, yes,
Okay. But if you ask yourself, do we do projects in functional organization? The answer is yes.
yes, sir.
And you do these projects internally and externally. I mean, your organization have some projects using their own team and some projects
Yes,
using the outside contractors,
yes, sir.
right? Now, you might be bureaucratic, you might be strict with your customers, right? With
Yes,
your contractors, right?
contractors. Yes, sir.
Being a company side project manager. But now, what about contractors who are contracting you, right?
Yes,
You
sir.
raised the RFP process, you signed up the contract, you developed some memorandum of understanding, and now they are working on scope of work which you gave them, right?
Yes, sir.
So when you are contracting with them, there they might they might read the other side of the picture also, that how is your, are you following agile contracting? They will follow agile contracting. So now principles will be the values will be tested, that if they have right training for agile and they collaborate with their customers, then you will feel that they are flexible. And if you responded flexibly, they will also be more flexible, right? Now it comes to, your contractors, basically, what is the methodology they are following? So they will be upfront telling you that we are very flexible in contracting. We are working on time and material base, and we have teams working for you day in, day out. So just tell us your requirements, we'll deliver you something. So look, you may not be agile, but you are dealing with an agile contractor for the first time. So you may get introduced to agile ways of working by your contractor.
Yes, sir. Noted. But sometimes we are just stick with our company policies and organization policies, so we cannot collaborate with the customer beyond our contract. So that's why I'm asking how
So,
we.
so transformations take time. It requires
Yes.
bottom-up awareness and also top-down mentality change. So a lot has to be done for example, the decision to go agile is not one-man decision, right?
You're right, sir.
Yeah, and it takes time. So organizations have adopted agile and they failed. They were doing very well in predictive, and organizations who were doing very bad and they adopted agile, and there are success stories and there are bad stories, right? So
Yes.
just bringing in one cool Scrum framework and telling the team that today we are agile because we started implementing the Scrum will not make you agile also, because agile changing mean that you need to embrace all the values. You need to live with these values day in, day out for the rest of your career with the organization. And then you also need to demonstrate the principles that we are going to study now next. And I think that you will have more understanding on the principles. So, all right. So I hope I answered your question, right?
Yes, sir. Yes. I will invite everyone to come and join us, so they have some sort of interest in agile also, and they will adopt.
All right. So those people, like the pioneers of software industry, the people who gave us Agile Manifesto, they gave us 4 values. They also gave us 12 principles, and they took more time, maybe 2 weeks actually. And I don't know the exact time, but they took more time to develop these principles. Okay. Then they developed their values. They developed their values quickly. So why? Because these principles are related to the day-to-day life of a developer. Okay. And remember, these guys were from software industry. That's why we are talking about development. Okay. So now, number one, our highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of a valuable software. Very profound statement. What does it say? Focus on value. What does it say? Continuous delivery. Deliver continuously and focus on value and satisfy your customer through working software. So one statement telling you you need to deliver continuously. Remember, every iteration you deliver some working software. Okay. You need to focus on prioritizing valuable items. Secondly, and third, deliver more frequently mean early as possible. Like instead of, let's say you have a choice that you can take a sprint to 3 weeks and sprint to 4 weeks, but shorter is better. Keep it like 2 weeks. And some extreme cases, like an extreme programming framework, we keep it to 1 week. So this is first. Understood? Second, welcome change in the requirements, even late in the development, because agile processes harness change for customers' competitive advantage. And we demonstrated this in my talk, right? That how we incorporate a change, even if it is late in the development, and agile teams harness change, they incorporate the change in the best interest of the customer, right? So customer has some logic behind the change, so we will go with the change, and we can incorporate it because we didn't dedicate the resources yet for many of the items that are still in the backlog. Clear?
Clear.
Okay, now deliver working software
Yes, sir.
frequently. Again, the same concept. Guys, in Agile, what is the currency? Working software. Make working software and get dollars in and get dollars out and make money, right? This is something which makes sense. Like if I need to measure your progress on the software development project, I'll say, where is the working software? Show me something working. All I care is this. I will not ask you where is the comprehensive documentation. I'll not ask you that X, Y, Z. I'll ask you, show me the working software which my customer can start using. From couple of weeks to couple of months, with preference to shorter time scale. Yeah, you can go and take your sprint for 14 days, and you can take even 1 sprint and 2 sprints and 3 sprints to improvise and improve the feature. But deliver me some feature, let's say, as soon as possible. Deliver me in 1 month, deliver me in 1 week. Shorter is better. The earliest you give me, the thing that it is better. Okay. Fourth, business people and developers must work together. Now, when we explain this, who was capturing the requirements from business? There was business and then business analyst from your team. He was capturing requirements. And developer is sitting here. Okay. Now, when the requirement will come, requirement session will close, the BRD will come here, the developer will be invited by the designer somehow to discuss the design, and so the developer will come here, collaborate with the designer, but business team will say tata bye bye. I will see you when you will invite me here. So when did the developer saw business guys? When did they saw business guys? Never. Right? They will see them here. Now, here make or break situation is there. Either they will be happy with what is delivered, or they will be sad because we explained Ferrari to your business analyst and you are delivering me Toyota. Either you will
Toyota is also good, sir.
But I didn't ask Toyota.
Yes.
So the customer can be happy or sad, right? But in Agile, we are saying, since we reduce the time for the feedback to, let's say, each 14 days, we are collecting some feedback and then we are collecting again the feedback. So what's happening? Customer is more close. Like we are also going back to the customer after 14 days, and this is some opportunity for the developer to take the feedback. However, during these 14 days also, Scrum Master is there to connect business people and developers on daily basis for any immediate feedback. So business people now work closely with the developers so that the individuals and interactions are happening, and we are not limited by the processes and tools that this is business, business, or you cannot talk with business. No, business will talk with you. You will talk with the business, so that you should not develop something that make business go mad, right?
Right.
All good. Let's go back. And I think we should take a break because our 1 hour finished, right?
More than 1 hour, sir.
Yeah. So we will keep it to 1 hour every time we meet. I think we have covered our 8 performance domains today from the PMBOK guide. we have covered our 4 values and we have covered our 4 principles out of the 12 principles, and we'll be continuing. And when we meet next time, it will be Sunday when we'll be practicing various questions, and then for the lecture we will be meeting on Monday.
Monday.
So
Okay.
for Danish, what we are doing, we are meeting Monday, Wednesday for the lecture, and Sunday we are doing some practice questions. And this is our third PMP class.
Okay, thank you. So I will, and because it falls after my work, it would be easy for me to follow it up.
We started 1 hour ago. So normally this is our time.
Yeah, I finish around 6:30, so then it would be easy for me to follow it up.
Perfect.
Thanks.
All good, guys? Okay.
All
See
good.
you next time. Bye-bye.